Eat carbs at this specific time to lose weight, drop fat fast, have a ton of energy. Today, I want to share with you a real quick tip that I think can make a big difference. I've been talking to a lot of people about this. I thought this was something that was a little bit more like common knowledge. And because I've been talking to a lot of people about like, what is the $1 Million Body Method? Like, where did I come up with it? Why is this like something that I created from scratch? What's glycogen priming? That sounds like a bunch of fancy words. Here's the short answer to that. It's not something that I just came up with, pulled out of my ass. This is something that is based in some firmly rooted science around a process called carb backloading. Carb backloading is a very, very simple way of getting results. It makes your life really easy. And you can explain it to a 6-year-old. Let me attempt to do that right now. So carb backloading is simply putting all your carbohydrates in your last meal of the day after you've done your work, you've done whatever you need to do for the day, you've done your training, you've done your walks, etc. Your carbs appear at the end of the day. Hopefully, there's a little bit more nuance to it, but that's the basis of it. And I firmly believe this is one of the most effective strategies for all of us because number one, you can sustain this. You can stick to this all the time. Number two, you can take this with you when you go to Thanksgiving dinner, when you go out to eat with friends and clients, when you are at a smorgasbord, you're at the big game, or you're at a picnic. You can always follow this rule because it's very simple. Put carbs in the last half of the day after you do all your work for the day and you do your training. Simple, right? So glycogen priming is just a facet of carb backloading, and it works so well. There's a couple of different nuances to this, and I'll unpack them for you right now. But basically what I wanted to share with you is a simple checklist that you can take. I'm going to give it out to you if you want it. If you want my checklist for carb backloading, how you can use this methodology to get great results whenever, drop me a thumbs up below. Just drop me a thumbs up here in the comments and I will get that to you. But what I would love to do is make sure that everyone has access to this because it is so powerful. It is so easy and it's going to make a huge difference. So let's walk through those pieces. There's really only 7 of them, 8 if you count the weekly investment. So daily, what we need to do is waking up in the morning, we're going to get a little bit of movement. And I'm going to say like, we're going to have 32 ounces of water in the morning. We're going to do a little bit of exercise in terms of 60 seconds of jumping jacks, 60 seconds of push-ups, whatever you want it to be, just one of those 2. For breakfast, we're having a high protein, high fat breakfast, no carbohydrates. For lunch, we're having a high protein, high vegetable meal for lunch, okay? Again, no carbohydrates, we're pushing those off to the end of the day. For dinner, we're having a high protein, high carbohydrate, shooting for something healthy, rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, even like oats, quinoa, barley, anything like that. And even if you want to include bread, I mean, it makes it just so easy. Bread, tortillas, lasagna, pasta, you can add it, whatever you want in here. That's the beauty of carb backloading. Then we're going to have vegetables with that as well. Then we want to make sure that we're training either in the morning or the afternoon. So you can put all the carbohydrates at the back half of the day. And if you're training at 6 a.m. in the morning, I still don't want you to eat a bunch of carbohydrates right at 8 a.m. We want to push that off. It's not going to affect your gains. Don't worry about that. We want to be drinking at least 1 gallon of water for this every single day for this to work most effectively. And then in order to sleep as best as possible, let's try to cut off and stop eating at least 2 hours before we go to bed. The last thing is on a weekly basis, we want to be fasting 24 to 48 hours. If you're fasting 16 hours a day, you're doing like the intermittent fasting on a regular basis, that can work too. This way is going to work better. So you can try it like this, check these boxes, print this off, put it on your refrigerator, send it to your Aunt Linda. It doesn't matter, but I want to get this into your hands to make sure that you know exactly what to do, how to do it. And it makes it very, very easy because you can see it as a visual example of what you're doing on a regular basis. So 32 ounces of water, protein for high fat breakfast, high protein, high veggie meals, all of our carbs in the PM, train in the afternoon or the morning, gallon of water per day, stop eating 2 hours before bed, fast 24 to 48 hours. Those are the real basics of carb backloading. So check those out. Like, honestly, how simple is that? You don't have to do any math. You don't have to track your calories. You don't have to eat keto. You don't have to be like, excuse me, waiter, do you happen to have the butter in the coffee instead of whatever this is? You don't have to do any of that. You can just make it so simple. And if it's simple, it's repeatable. And if it's repeatable, it's sustainable. So let's get after this, guys. Make sure that you have what you need to be successful because I want to make sure this information is very, very consumable and actionable. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, let me know. And if you want access to my checklist, let me know below. Talk to you soon.